The following is a presentation of the Pro Wrestling Report. Informative, entertaining, and real since 1998.
Coming up next, folks, on the Pro Wrestling Report, be the booker for tomorrow's Fastlane pay-per-view, an exclusive interview with Big Sexy Kevin Nash, news on several talent signings and departures from both WWE and TNA, details on the huge Ring of Honor 13th anniversary show with a special in-studio guest, hot news, the February Top 5, and DWH as well. All that and the latest from all the wrestling companies right here, right now, for a full hour on My 24 Milwaukee.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report PrimeTime TV, the longest-running pro wrestling news program in the world, with your hosts, David Hero and Damian Nelson.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night for February 21st, 2015. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-time knockouts, hardcore straight-edge goat face, alleged Hall of Famer hero.
I'm showing you the placard that I have.
Yeah, when you put it in my hand, it all fell apart. The nameplate fell off. The real nameplate was behind it. It said Frank something or another.
Yeah, right. That's not an HOFer.
How you been? It's been a couple of weeks. We haven't been with our peeps since the Royal Rumble.
It's been fantastic.
You know, canceled WWE Network, Roman Reigns won. If they just watched our show, they would have known.
Wasn't that amazing,
the night before.
the Rumble, though? I mean, the Be the Booker was spot on, right?
Because you only talk about it when you get a match or two, right?
Obviously,
Yes. I'm sure they did.
Let's
and
run
planned
that
the
way.
entire show in a 12-hour period.
Of course.
Rewrote the entire show.
They do that in 12 minutes sometimes.
Well, folks, we'll talk about the results of the Royal Rumble along with so much more here on this loaded full-hour edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. But now it's time to go through this week's WWE report. And there's only one huge story to come out of WWE this week, David Hero. One major, massive story. Yeah, one. Did you watch Raw this past Monday night?
Of course I did.
Sold out in Orlando, Florida, which I
Yes.
think is hilarious, by the way. Because
why is that funny?
Something else was going on in Orlando, Florida.
Because there was a Team Impact Wrestling pay-per-view.
15,000 plus. I'm not going to go there. Straight away.
936.
Stardust.
Yes.
The endorsed Stardust.
Good God Almighty! How about
turned
that?
on his brother Goldust.
You always got to watch out for the younger brothers. They're
Why is
always
this?
a little jealous. They're always a little, on edge.
The
And,
younger brothers usually get away with murder.
well, and Cody kind of did.
Who?
Cody.
Stardust.
He had
Two
to
different people.
But how about Dusty? He Darth Vadered his own son. Cody, I'm your father. That was fantastic. You can't write that.
And Stardust's reaction, I think, was equally fantastic. He is. Let's give credit where credit's due. And I've been a Cody Rhodes fan for years upon years since all of you realized how great he was.
Never once have you doubted Cody Rhodes.
He has taken this Stardust character and made it into something incredibly unique and something incredibly memorable and something far enough away from the Goldust character that it is built on where he could have some legs to the Stardust thing.
The only problem is...
Because you got to find one.
No, not... People don't like to see brothers fight. Okay?
You don't watch those videos online?
No. Nobody wanted to see Matt versus Jeff.
Oh, those brothers.
Okay?
Yes. WrestleMania 25.
Nobody wants to see Cody versus Goldust.
They're going to see it tomorrow night at Fastlane.
I mean, nobody wanted to see Road Dogg versus Billy.
They're not real brothers.
But you know what I mean? They don't want to see teams that are like family ever fight. Nobody wanted to see Hall versus Nash.
The best wrestling stories are built in reality. How much more real does it get when you have brothers and jealousy and two brothers going at it?
Two brothers in
years
face paint.
upon
One in
years
gold, one
ago.
in purple fighting each other.
Purple, red, or green. If you follow the color scheme, you would know how it goes. Years and years ago, remember there was big talk about a Goldust versus Cody Rhodes match at WrestleMania. They were both lobbying for it. And while we're going to get the match tomorrow night at Fastlane on pay-per-view, where does this continue and or end, David Hero? Can it have enough legs to be one of the feature matches or one of the matches at WrestleMania?
There's no doubt. It's a retirement match where loser must retire.
It's perfect, isn't it?
And then maybe Cody puts his brother out of wrestling.
It's a great story.
It is a great story.
It's written in the stars.
And Goldust has been fantastic since he's been returned.
Goldust is one of the best workers in the company.
Than he was 15, 20 years ago.
That's very true, very true. Well done. I think the writing was on the wall. You saw it coming with Dusty Rhodes being announced as being involved this past Monday night, but I think it was still well executed and got enough time for the story to be told. Speaking of stories to be told, what story is Bray Wyatt telling in these bizarre backstage promos that we've seen over the last few weeks in WWE? Now, Bray is saying he's not calling out The Undertaker, as a lot of people speculate he is, but that it is much larger and greater than that. I think, though, David Hero, again, as usual in wrestling, the answer resides right here.
Always right in front of you. Always. And who else could it be? He's not calling out Sting.
Now? He's busy tomorrow.
He is busy. And it's going to be The Undertaker. And what does it say about the quality of talent of Bray Wyatt when they say, yes, you're the guy to carry Undertaker to a good match at WrestleMania?
Well, CM Punk was as well.
But after
know how much you love him?
But after last year's match,
you can erase the hate on your face. That would help things a lot.
I don't hate the guy. I just don't like him.
It's different.
And
great piece, though, that he did with Lance Allen from TMJ4
the gun show Lance Allen.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Found training here in Milwaukee for his MMA
yes,
debut.
Yes, he is. But Bray Wyatt, it's a tall task for him.
Yes, it is.
Because Taker is beaten. He's beat up and broken.
Look, here's the real story of The Undertaker. If you take our challenge and rewatch last year's WrestleMania match with Brock Lesnar, it was a horrible match. The Undertaker should not have been in that ring. He should not get in the ring this year as well. But as you said, if they're putting all that trust in Bray Wyatt to carry, if you will, The Undertaker to a great match, and don't read more into that statement than you should, because The Undertaker is and always will be great. But he lost last year. The streak is over.
Right, and physically.
So why even perform at WrestleMania, aside from being a marquee expected attraction? Why even perform at WrestleMania if the streak is over? What reason does The Undertaker have to come back?
Because Taker needs to get his heat back. He needs to beat somebody. He can beat Bray Wyatt, which then sets up next year in Dallas, Texas, 100,000 people.
It has been announced.
Undertaker versus Sting.
Yeah.
Which is worse.
Okay, he couldn't go last year. He shouldn't go this year. He won't go next year.
Which will be worse than taking to Ambien, because that match is going to be brutal.
Match quality, but two bad wrestlers could have a great marquee match, correct?
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, they're not bad wrestlers.
You know what? I rewatched Hogan versus Rock
at WrestleMania 18.
They didn't do much.
They didn't do much at all.
They
did
do much.
Everything.
It was a lot of punching and kicking.
And rock bottoms and leg drops.
But it told an amazing story.
One of the best stories ever told in the ring.
Because the fans were emotionally invested into it, and you have Hogan, who was an amazing heel as Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Yes.
Who could lead Rock along if Rock got lost, and Rock, an amazing talent as a super over babyface.
You know, I think as we do this show now, we're going to take advantage of these opportunities as they pop up. But there's a lot of unique things about these big stories that a lot of the viewers may not have had the opportunity to know, because quite frankly, they've never been revealed publicly. But there's an interesting story about the transition of Hollywood Hulk Hogan to the Montreal Raw Hulk Hogan the next night, about how he got his gear and what WWE did to make that happen.
Yeah, they chartered a flight just for his red and yellow to be there.
From Toronto to Florida, and then back to Toronto so that he could become Hulk Hogan the next night. Speaking of legends and speaking of Hulk Hogan, you can't think of Hulk Hogan without thinking about Ric Flair. And Ric Flair was on Raw this past Monday night. Got face-to-face with Triple H. Now, Flair seemed a wee bit off, this past Monday night. And
what do you mean this past Monday night? Usually he seems a wee bit off.
In the first few moments, I said, ooh, is he drunk? And Triple H reeled him back in and tried to get it back in. And Triple H, effective in the utilization of Flair to talk about how great Sting is, as you've talked about the reintroduction of Sting, the wrestler, to the fans, and then the importance, if you will, of Triple H saying Sting was WCW. I am and will always be WWE. Is that a story there for this match that they obviously are going to have at WrestleMania?
It's amazing because, like I even put on Twitter when this was all happening, once in a while,
once every 5 minutes?
Usually. It's all about the impressions.
It's amazing. There's only one type of person you retweet, though.
It's shenanigans. He's telling the story how he's WWE and Sting is WCW. Then he disappeared, which means he went to TNA. But how can you cheer against Triple H?
That's a fact, unfortunately.
How can you cheer against Triple H then? Because now he's in WWE against a WCW guy.
Yeah. Well, great story, and tomorrow night at Fastlane on pay-per-view, you'll see the confrontation between Sting and Triple H, and we'll talk about that much more in Be the Booker later on. But WWE news and the report on WWE continues, but first, let's go to Linda to find out exactly what else we have in store for you here tonight on this loaded show. You looking forward to that Abyss video? I've seen it.
I haven't yet.
You should have called him. Linda, take it away.
Coming up next on PWR PrimeTime, more discussion on WWE, including the big news on NXT, hot news, Be the Booker, DHHS, and a major name that has left TNA Wrestling after 10 years with the company. All that and more when we return in just under 2 minutes.
Don't miss your chance to catch the best pro wrestling on the planet. Ring of Honor returns to Milwaukee at the Turner Hall Ballroom Friday, March 13th at 7:30 p.m. with appearances by The Briscoes, Red Dragon, Jay Lethal, and many more. Experience body slamming, brain busting, pro wrestling action live. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
When you're diamond shopping, variety is important. At Robert Hack Diamonds, we'll show you multiple diamonds side by side underneath the microscope and show you what to look for when buying a diamond. GIA graduate gemologists are on staff for expert diamond grading. Robert Hack has affordable prices on all diamonds, including diamonds certified by the GIA. Need a mounting for your diamond? Our selection is huge. Buy your diamonds today at Robert Hack Diamonds or visit roberthackdiamonds.com.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. You know it's WWE pay-per-view season.
It is.
Primetime is back on your television. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero, and we've been talking about WWE. And, well, a tag team reunited this past Monday night on Raw as well. The Primetime Players. They saw the dawn of a new day as they are back together.
Now, why are they the New Day?
No, they saw the dawn of a new day as they are back
it's amazing because
together.
Darren Young,
I didn't realize that was him, by the way. He looked completely different.
he did. He's had a makeover. But Darren Young was blasting the WWE tour of Abu Dhabi. Mm-hmm. And now he's rewarded by being back with the Primetime Players. Mm-hmm. Which was interesting because when they showed Darren Young and they're about to introduce his tag team partner, they never announced the tag team partner.
They never announced Darren either, did they?
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
They went right into the Ascension. And then good for Titus O'Neil. I think him and Darren Young, they were a great tag team together.
They were a great tag team, but let's be real. The audience in Orlando didn't have much of a reaction to their reuniting.
Because they haven't.
They didn't think it felt so good.
Because, first of all, because they were never super over as a tag team.
They were not super over, but they were over.
And they haven't seen Darren Young in a while. And maybe some didn't recognize him.
Mm-hmm.
And Orlando was NXT town.
Okay. It's as much an NXT town as it is a TNA town.
No, it's far more NXT.
Okay, because NXT can fit 1,000 people in their studio.
Yes, they can. And bought paid tickets.
Oh,
not free.
Really?
Yeah.
The ending of Raw, widely discussed as being tremendous. It was Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, and obviously Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns earlier in the broadcast had a bit of a discussion, if you will, about their upcoming big match at Fastlane tomorrow night on pay-per-view. Now, of course, in that matchup, whoever wins goes on to WrestleMania to take on Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship.
Yes.
So the ending, have we gotten to a point where this has done what it needs to do for Roman Reigns to get rid of the, how do I phrase this, the ignorant hatred of him because he is the quote-unquote chosen one, because he has it, because he has talent, because he has the look, because he does have charisma. Maybe he's not The Rock on the microphone. Maybe he's not Bret Hart in the ring, but he is the one. And if he is not the one, I'd like somebody to point me to the star that is the one to carry WWE on its shoulders going forward.
Roman Reigns has done everything that company has asked him to do. Mm-hmm. And he was put in a spot that is almost like Batista last year.
Who?
Batista.
Oh, the movie star.
Yeah, movie star.
Literally.
The guy, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Going to be in the next Bond film, too.
Yes. But, you got to figure, because we haven't really talked about the Rumble.
We have not.
They brought The Rock in.
Mm-hmm.
to Philadelphia.
Actually, it wasn't The Rock. That was the kitchen sink.
They gave Roman Reigns everything imaginable in Philadelphia, and they still booed him. But now that's Philadelphia in New York area. If that happens in Atlanta, Georgia, if that happens in Des Moines, Iowa,
Memphis tomorrow night,
it could have been different. But Roman Reigns will go on to headline WrestleMania. There's no question. Because
don't give it away. We got to be the booker later.
No, that's what Vince McMahon wants.
And what Vince McMahon wants, including the cover of Muscle and Fitness. Do you think there was any airbrushing?
There's a little bit.
A little bit?
I'm sure there's a little bit of touch.
Bieber-style airbrushing, or?
Who?
Justin Bieber, he's a pop star.
Maybe a little Kim Kardashian airbrushing.
Was Miley Cyrus Justin Bieber on Saturday Night Live's 40th anniversary? Did you watch that?
I did not watch
Celebrity
that, no.
Jeopardy?
No.
Linda, was it? Was that Miley? Was Miley playing Justin?
Those are the cast members.
Oh, it should have been Miley. Because, Miley and Justin, they look somewhat alike.
Do they?
Do you know who these people are?
Yes.
Folks, a lot going on in WWE, including NXT Big Rival special last week. Kevin Owens became the new champion, defeating Sami Zayn after the match was stopped. Too fast?
I don't think so. Because I think they want to bring Sami Zayn up.
On NXT this week as well, or as part of the NXT TV tapings this week, Rhino made his return to WWE, if you will.
Good for Rhino.
And along with the announcement that Brian Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick, will be back next week to NXT. NXT going on the road, David Hero. They've got a big show in Ohio that they've already scheduled and is sold out. They're adding more shows in Ohio, and we'll talk much more about that in hot news later on. That's this week's WWE Report. Indeed, it is now time to talk TNA Impact Wrestling. A big show this past, just last night, rather, on Destination America. Your dear friend Al Snow had a big matchup.
He did.
From across the pond.
He was across the pond with Grado.
Grado?
Yeah, Grado.
Is that from the Lord of the Rings movies?
He looks like him. I mean, almost
Frodo.
Identical. Yeah, even they're
Frodo Lord of the Rings?
They're built the same. I mean,
I'm not
he
sure
got
that's
lucky.
true.
He caught Al. Al should have mopped the floor with that kid.
Show looks good, though, with people out there
When you are in front of a paying audience
that are invested.
that will boo and cheer the right people, that aren't the international tourists, absolutely.
Let's be clear, though, on that, because I think this is an important point worth making that we don't make often enough, is TNA doesn't want to be in the studio in Orlando, Florida. Matter of fact, they tried, and you didn't pay and go. So they are back in the studio because that's financially viable for them right now.
Yes.
So.
And that's the only place where they can book 85 matches in 4 days and save money. I mean, think about it. I mean, come on. Is that fair?
There's no way an audience would sit through the marathon of tapings that they had.
Last week, they did 4 days of tapings. Over 85 matches in 4 days.
And they did so without one talent, ladies and gentlemen, because announcing his departure from TNA Impact Wrestling, as we talked about yesterday on Feedback Friday on our YouTube channel, Samoa Joe, after 10 years with the company, gone from the company. Samoa Joe announcing on Twitter that he had decided to leave TNA. However, TNA's Vice President of, I believe, Talent Relations, John Guboric, went on Twitter and said that they had decided not to renew the contract. Yet several talents from TNA, as you pointed out yesterday, David, here on Feedback Friday, came on board on Twitter to talk about how they wish Joe the best, and one person who's still under contract, Velvet Sky, deciding to say that this company, TNA, is not the same as it used to be.
No, and Velvet isn't under contract, and that didn't do her any favors.
Isn't?
No, is not.
Is not. Oh, Feast or Fire.
Yeah.
Copy.
Legitimately not under contract.
Same thing happened with her, though. Here's what happened with Joe, folks, from what we are able to gather. Contract did expire, much like AJ Styles 2 years ago. Here's what I want, here's what you're going to get. Here's what I want, here's what you're going to get. Here's what I want, here's what you're going to get. Contract negotiations, it always happens. And obviously, especially if you've been with the company for so long, you don't expect to take a pay cut. Or you definitely won't expect to take a pay cut if you don't see the company growing in such a way that you're going to get that payback later on. Samoa Joe seemingly made that decision that he was not worth less than he is worth now and decided to leave TNA Wrestling.
Basically, that's what it comes down to. I mean, they weren't
Money, money, money,
they didn't want to pay him.
money.
Either they didn't offer him a contract, or they didn't want to pay him what he thought was what he was worth.
Well,
he's been there for a long time.
He has.
Okay, if they're willing to let AJ Styles leave, anyone's is fair
But let's
game.
look at it this way. So TNA, Dixie Carter, John Gaborik, everybody's talking about how they want to focus on new, younger stars, i.e. less expensive. They want to focus on new, younger stars. They've made some great stars. They've got some great stars. EC3 is tremendous. Rockstar Spud is endorsed. They've done some good things.
Yes.
However, what is NXT doing right now to their roster to prepare to go on the road and tour and ensure that people are engaged in the product? They're adding what types of names?
Established stars.
Recognizable, established stars to put on the posters in the marquee.
Yes.
To sell tickets. TNA, conversely, is getting rid of those established names and stars and keeping one in Kurt Angle, two, Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy, I guess, and focusing on newer talents. Well, and they're not on the road either, so perhaps.
But let's be fair. I like Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe's a great person.
He's an amazing
great
talent.
wrestler.
He's a
unique.
good human being. He wasn't he wasn't helping them sell tickets.
I don't think that equation works in TNA Impact Wrestling because they do not market their events in any way, shape, or form. So to blame the talents or say the talents weren't selling tickets, it's because the people in those towns were never told the talents were coming to town.
That is absolutely true. But let's face it, Samoa Joe, it's amazing because I saw a bunch of people commenting, oh, now Samoa Joe can go to NXT. Mm-hmm. So that means that the IWC compares NXT to be on equal or greater footing than TNA Impact Wrestling.
Greater footing.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But then you got to wonder, they already have the Usos and Roman Reigns.
I don't understand the comparison.
Well, because they're Samoan.
Okay, is there some type of quota or
there
maximum?
Might be. Okay. You laugh. I don't know why, it's not funny, but I'm being serious.
I know you are. And that's what's funny.
I mean, where does Samoa Joe fit?
Samoa Joe, as you said, great talent, could add to the WWE roster. Triple H recently said in an interview they're looking to have a roster of 90 to 100 peeps. They currently have, I think he said 65 to 80.
If WWE doesn't sign Bobby Roode when they have the chance, or AJ Styles when they have the chance, what makes you think they would sign Samoa Joe?
Or, and I believe this was a public comment from either Triple H or Vince McMahon, that they had no interest at all in any of the current talent in TNA. This is about a year ago.
None. They have no interest.
Kurt Angle, I mean, want to tell the real story about that? You know, he told us, we've talked about this, when
last year at WrestleMania,
a day with him at an event, that he is going back to WWE, period, in September. He's going back. I believe Kurt believed that. However,
it didn't happen.
Takes two to tango, folks, and I think he was dancing solo when he tried to get back. But Impact Wrestling's doing good on Destination America. They're bringing numbers to the network. The network is seeing growth, which is what they wanted out of it. They are promoting it. I am happy to see happy to see commercials on Raw broadcasts for Impact Wrestling, which they're doing so in a smart way. They're going by market as opposed to getting national ads. So you may not have seen them, but we have seen them. This is a good thing. TNA is growing, but they gotta, God bless it, we've been saying this for 10 years. They gotta fix their business. Their business. Their office, their business. They have to fix that.
The entire front office needs an overhaul.
That's this week's TNA Impact Wrestling Report, ladies and gentlemen. Still so much here to come, David Hero, including, speaking of TNA, wait till you see what Abyss has to say to you this week. You're in a sling, pal.
I don't understand why you find this so funny.
I find it so funny because finally, the Teflon Don over here.
I'm a single dad.
I know you are.
Okay, so why would you want to see me in harm's way?
Because I'd rather have Cal sit in that chair every week. Cal's moving on up. He's being called up to take your spot.
Oh,
I mean, you know, youth is something we aspire for here on PWR TV, and, you know, I mean, we need fresh faces. That's this week's TNA report, folks. Let's go to Linda with what's next.
Yeah, fresh faces. Let's go to Linda.
Coming up next on PWR Primetime, this week's hot news, Diamond of the Ring, a sit-down interview with Kevin Nash, along with Be the Booker for tomorrow's pay-per-view. All that and more on the other side of this brief timeout.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company just wasn't helping me, so I said stop, and I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They put the green light on my case and got me $65,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Direct from the Jerry Springer Show. The Extreme Midget Wrestling Federation is coming to town. The world's smallest wrestlers are competing for the title. This is body slamming action. Midget style. These 4'2" little guys fight with pool sticks, chairs, trash cans, and weapons of mass destruction. Come, support midget violence.
Coming to Milwaukee on Friday, April 3rd. Get your tickets now at hapstheater.org.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. It's time for this week's hot news, looking at all the hottest wrestling news stories of the week. Triple H hosted a conference call last week to talk about NXT and its future. During the call, Triple H revealed that the brand would be doing more touring to expose the talent to different audiences.
Whoa, you mean
and
like what Seth Rollins did last week?
That was a different kind of tour. More on that in a minute. He also said that they would be running in smaller venues, and the first show in Ohio is already sold out, so they're adding more dates. Seth Rollins got into a bit of trouble on social media recently when nude pictures of him were posted online by a female companion.
It's his ex-fiancée.
The photos were immediately posted on various websites, and WWE COO Triple H referred to the situation as, and I quote, an unfortunate personal incident. AXS TV is reportedly looking to renew New Japan Pro Wrestling beyond its current 13-episode run. The show, which has been very well received, features the best matches from New Japan in 2013 and 14. Color commentator Josh Barnett appeared on the MMA Hour on AXS and recently said that the network would likely be soon announcing the renewal of the program, which currently runs through April 10th. That show airs on Fridays on AXS TV. WWE recently announced their 2014 financial results and revealed that the WWE Network had surpassed 1 million subscribers, a goal they set when the network launched. This was in light of the #Cancel WWE Network campaign that trended on Twitter when Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble.
It's kind of like punch in the face, wasn't it?
WWE Chairman Vince McMahon said of the campaign, and I quote, "That's good for the WWE. It created controversy, and it really was a gesture by some of the vocal minority in terms of not liking the creative." As you may have heard, the network is free for the month of February, following up on the free November promotion last year. Both were done in an effort to gain subscribers to the network. Cassandra Frazier, widow of former WWE superstar Nelson Frazier Jr., who went by Big Daddy V and Viscera, filed a wrongful death suit against WWE this week, just 1 year after his death. Cassandra alleges that Frazier died as a result of injuries he suffered as a result of working for WWE. She goes on to allege that WWE's wrongful conduct gave rise to the long-term consequences of multiple concussions and other, quote, serious, permanent, and disabling injuries during his career with WWE. Cassandra is accusing WWE of holding back on important medical information and research and misinforming Nelson and other talents about the risks of working for the company. Cassandra has made 9 claims against WWE, including negligence, negligent misrepresentation, intentional misrepresentation, fraudulent concealment, vicarious liability, fraud by omission and failure to warn, punitive damages, wrongful death, and loss of consortium by herself. Speaking of loss, I'm lost after saying all that. But that is it for this week's hot news, ladies and gentlemen. It's time now to go to this week's Ring of Honor report. And folks, we are very pleased to welcome here to the studio our guest, first time in studio, Mr. Tommaso Ciampa.
Yes, sir.
Did I say it right? Ciampa. Ciampa.
He's the champ.
I can spell it right, but I can't say it right. It's really bizarre. How are you, sir?
Very good, man. Thank
Good.
you for having me.
Welcome to the PWR studios. And for a lot of people that don't know, recently a new resident of Milwaukee, our hometown here.
Yeah, I moved here in October. Just got out of Boston in time for the winter storm, so it's been perfect.
So instead of the 6 feet of snow, you get -20.
I'll take it, man.
There you go.
Have you been to Cops yet, Frozen Custard?
I haven't, but I drive by it often. My wife is a big fan of Golden Gyros, so I try to.
Oakland,
not Oakland? Oh, Oakland Heroes.
Golden.
Golden. What are we talking about here?
Well, there's
I don't know. I can't give you an address.
Well, folks, as you may have heard, Ring of Honor Wrestling does make its return to Las Vegas on Sunday, March 1st, as it presents its 13th anniversary super event, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, live from the Orleans Hotel and Casino. That is on pay-per-view, not internet pay-per-view. That'll happen afterwards, but it is on pay-per-view. You can get it through your cable and/or satellite subscriber. And the big main event is a high-stakes, 4-corner survival Ring of Honor World Championship match. Just a lot of of words there.
Yeah.
Jay Briscoe defending against unbreakable Michael Elgin, the Sicilian psychopath sitting next to me, and
I'm not comfortable anymore.
and the Warbeard Hansen, a 4-way match for the championship coming up in just a couple of weeks in Las Vegas, Nevada. It is high stakes for sure.
Yeah, man, I'm very excited for it. This is definitely the biggest stage I've ever been on in my entire life, especially being in such a high-profile match. You know, the whole pay-per-view is the best card I've ever seen Ring of Honor put out in my life. I'm excited as a fan and as a wrestler for this one.
Jay Briscoe defending the championship. He's been champion for some time. Jay Lethal, the television champion. Let's say you walk out of Vegas on March 1st with that belt, with that title. What will it mean to you as a performer, as a wrestler, to be the champion?
Yeah, you know, you get asked it all the time, and there's no words for it. For me, it's a little bit different, I think, than the guys in the match, than my competitors. I hear them talk about how they've upped their training or their dieting or whatnot. I view it that everything physically that could be done has already been done. I'm prepared for this as much as I ever could be, but it's more of a mental game. And mentally, man, I've never been in a better place, focused as could be. And the idea of taking that title home, not just to say, hey, I'm the best wrestler in the world, but to take it home to my wife, to my family, and for them to know that this 10 years was worth it. Every second, every bump, everything. That's what I want, man.
Well stated, and speaking of bumps, you've taken a lot of them. We've seen your matches. Been all over the place. Tremendous wrestler, tremendous talent. It's going to be a great show on pay-per-view. Alberto El Patron, formerly Alberto Del Rio, also a part of that show on pay-per-view. Some are saying that right now, Ring of Honor has one of its best rosters it's had in the company's history. And you're talking a company that brought up guys like CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, many others who really made their mark in Ring of Honor wrestling. The roster right now is, quite frankly, tremendous.
Yeah, and these are guys, you know, everyone knows who Alberto El Patron is, but these are guys 10 years from now. People are going to be talking about this and saying, wow, one day all these guys as young, hungry kids were together doing their thing, you know, and it's just a phenomenal.
And now they got the Bullet Club as well.
Bullet Club invaded everything.
I mean, it's insane for you guys.
Let's not forget AJ Styles, who you'll be wrestling in the next few weeks.
Incredible, yeah. March 7th, potentially, if I win this world title, this would be the first time in history the Ring of Honor World Champion takes on the IWGP World Champion in a one-on-one match.
Wow. Well, and that could carry over to March 13th here at Milwaukee's very own Turner Hall when Ring of Honor returns. You can get tickets and information on that show at papsttheater.org. papsttheater.org. Tommaso, thank you so much for coming down and joining us, talk a little bit about Ring of Honor.
Thank you, man. Hopefully people come out to Turner Hall, too. That's our best venue that we have. We love it there.
And now let's go to Linda Kay with this week's Event Center.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. You never know what to expect when extreme midget wrestling comes to your town. Live, insane, and uncaged at Turner Hall Ballroom. This exciting show returns to Milwaukee on April 3rd. Tickets are available now at papstheater.org. Complete your WrestleMania weekend with the official PWR-endorsed weekend plan. It all starts Friday, March 27th, when PWR returns to WrestleCon, where you can meet all the stars of pro wrestling and even be a part of a special PrimeTime TV taping that will be held at WrestleCon. Following WrestleCon on Friday night, join us at the Shenanigans VIP Club Party at the San Jose Bar and Grill, located next to the Convention Center, hosting NXT and Access. Appearing at the party will be Kevin Nash, Thea Rosita Trinidad, Melina, and Zima Ion will be the official DJ for the night, and admission includes a red carpet meet and greet with the stars and free food and free drinks all night long. Also appearing at the VIP party will be Mr. Pectacular Jesse Goddard, Gunner, and Al Snow. Then on Sunday, you can join the PWR team in a private VIP suite for WrestleMania at Levi Stadium for the 5th annual Sweet and Sexy. Tickets for all these events are very limited and are available now at pwrshow.com. That's it for this week's Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. And coming up after the break, Damian Nelson sits down with Kevin Nash, and Abyss is back with another special message for David Hero. We'll be right back.
Direct from the Jerry Springer Show. The Extreme Midget Wrestling Federation is coming to town. The world's smallest wrestlers are competing for the title. This is body slamming action. Midget style! These 4'2" little guys fight with pool sticks, chairs, trash cans, and weapons of mass destruction. Come, support midget violence.
Coming to Milwaukee on Friday, April 3rd. Get your tickets now at papstheater.org.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report PrimeTime TV, the longest running pro wrestling talk show in the world and the only one on broadcast TV. There's already been some great discussion in the first half of the show on WWE and TNA, but we have so much more for you here in the second half, including a special interview with Kevin Nash, this month's Top 5, DHHS, and Be the Booker for WWE Fastlane tomorrow on pay-per-view. But first, as you saw on our last show, TNA star Abyss is not too pleased with David Hero. Well, this week the PWR offices received yet another video from Abyss, and he had some very unpleasant words for David. Let's take a look at what Abyss had to say.
Hey, David. Are you afraid? Do you sit up at night and leave your lamp on because you're in fear that I might be close by? Do you look over your shoulder every time you run to the store, or go to one of your pathetic shows, or run your son Cal over to his friends? Do you look over your shoulder looking to see if I'm there? Well, you better, because I'm on the way. I'm coming for you. You had a chance to do what I asked you to do. This is no longer about Damian Nelson. It's about you, David. David Hero, I am coming for you, and when I'm done with you, you're no longer going to be involved in the pro wrestling business. Great Lakes Championship Wrestling is done. You're done. Get ready, because I'm on the way.
Yes, I know you're scared. I can see it in your beady little eyes. You're scared. You're afeard of it.
It's not scared, it's frustrated.
You're shivering a little bit there.
Well, it is negative 10 degrees outside.
Do you need a diaper or a bedpan?
You
pee your britches.
have caused all of this.
How so?
Because you just couldn't keep your nose out of anybody's business.
It wasn't my nose, it was my forearm and a low blow. Tommy Dreamer, 1, 2, 3, beats Abyss. At Blizzard Bro. But it's not about me. You can continue to try to deflect and defer this to me. It is not about me. It is about you answering the challenge to Abyss.
There's no challenge.
He wants.
Listen, I am giving him a title match in June against Al Snow.
What?
Yeah.
You're bringing Abyss in to work a GLCW show.
Well, yeah, I figured that would be good enough.
Have you told him this?
He's aware. It's on the calendar.
Must have been after this video came in earlier this week.
It's June 20th. It's Al versus Abyss. It's even it's kind of a hardcore match. There's no reason for him to.
You think this is going to make him no longer want to? You didn't do what he asked you to do. So these carrots you're dangling out in front of him won't help because you didn't fire me. Because you can't fire me. Fire me? I'm already fired. I can't be fired. I'm not fired.
It's not funny.
It's hilarious. You're right.
I'm not a fighter. I'm not a wrestler. I'm a promoter.
You're definitely not a lover.
I'm a talking head.
What I read online.
Yeah, I'm fantastic. But that's not one of my deals.
Well, I can't wait to see how it. You know what is one of your deals though is throwing a little bit of love to our great friend Robert Hack Diamonds.
Yes, Robert Hack Diamonds. The only place that I shop for diamonds. It's the best place to go.
You know, diamonds are a girl's best friend.
That's what I've heard. Yes. But
Real
this week's Robert Hack Diamond to the Ring, you know what? It was a tough call. It was difficult. But the guy that stood out for me this past week was Daniel Bryan.
What?
Yes.
Shut your mouth.
He had
little Daniel Bryan?
He had an
He's
edge.
your Diamond to the Ring.
He had an edge.
This guy.
Yeah, that guy right there, the guy behind me. There was a certain edge about him this week. He was a little more snarky, like poking the bear, just being that guy. It was a new dimension of Daniel Bryan, which I think is going to transcend well into tomorrow night's big pay-per-view. So this week's Robert Hack Diamond of the Ring, the only place where I get my diamonds, the only place I trust to get diamonds, is Daniel Bryan.
Details are important, folks. I don't know if you noticed, but Daniel Bryan, as of late, has been sporting the Shawn Michaels hairdo. I don't even know what you call it with the way it's pinned up, half ponytail, half stole.
He's not wearing the do-rag.
Shawn Michaels wore
the cowboy hat.
When did Shawn Michaels wear a do-rag? A do-rag?
No.
Is that, if I go to the store, if I go to the hair store and buy one of these do-rags, is it on the package called a do-rag?
Yeah, it is. It's called a gimmick. Just ask for a gimmick.
What are those T-shirts that aren't like crew neck or V-neck? What are those called?
Tank tops.
Thank you. That's this week's Diamond of the Ring Bowl. Folks, Tomassa Ciampa, our guest just a little while ago here in the studio. Abyss just a few seconds ago.
We have Abyss, and then we have the Sicilian psychopath. Who do you bring into the studio?
You're on edge. You're on edge.
I'm a little jerky.
I can't help that you are that insecure in your ability to defend yourself.
I'm just hoping that this doesn't come to a head in San Jose.
Oh, they'll be heading San Jose. Al Snow's going to be there.
Al Snow's going to be in San Jose.
Absolutely. But, folks, right now, speaking of San Jose, the man who is headlining a huge party on Friday night of WrestleMania weekend, March 27th, Big Sexy Kevin Nash, joined us in a pre-taped interview just a couple of days ago. We talked about Magic Mike. We talked about the Shenanigans Party. We talked about WrestleMania as well. So, without further ado, let's go to this month's special PWR guest, Big Sexy Kevin Nash.
Damian Nelson here at the BMO Harris Bradley Center in Milwaukee with Big Sexy Kevin Nash. Kevin, welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. It's been a while since we had you on. It's been almost 2 years. You joined us for WrestleMania season. It was that long ago, absolutely. But, you know, speaking of WrestleMania and WrestleMania season, coming up on Friday night, March 28th in San Jose, California, at the San Jose Bar and Grill. It is the annual spectacular. It is our fifth big party with Kevin Nash. The best way to kick off WrestleMania weekend, and we've had some fun times, and whether it be Miami, New York, New Orleans, Atlanta, and now in San Jose, California. Is it San Jose or San Francisco? A lot of people are confused out there.
I've heard Santa Clara. I've heard all kinds of things. I guess it's probably San Jose, though.
Well, the event is in San Jose. All the details right now at pwrshow.com, but it's a party event. It is free drinks, free food all night long, and the chance to party with you. So for those who have not had the Kevin Nash Party Sphere opportunity, if you will, what should they expect on Friday night, March 28th?
It's more what should they expect Saturday morning. It's dialysis. No, it's I'm getting older, you know. So it'll be mellow. No, we just have fun. You know, it's a good time. It's a chance to go someplace that's not PG-13.
Yes, absolutely. And you know, it's part of WrestleMania weekend. It's the big kickoff to WrestleMania weekend. You've been a part of many a WrestleMania. Last year, part of the Hall of Fame with the inductions. And this year, San Jose, Levi's Stadium. What is it like being a part of the biggest event of the year from professional wrestling, WrestleMania, each and every year, whether you're on the card or not on the card?
You know, to me, it's a situation where I was just in Hartford a couple weeks ago shooting a movie. And I remember that WrestleMania 11 was held in Hartford, and I was No, this is actually was at that whatever it is, the Civic Center.
Yeah, it's a Tetional Mall, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. But I mean, it's just, you know, to see that venue as opposed to what it's become now, where it's basically besides the Super Bowl, I don't think there's anything bigger than WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, it's huge. So, just to see the growth of the company. The WWE universe grows every year. The network now is going global, so it's exciting.
Very exciting, always exciting. And speaking of biggest events and exciting, you've got a movie sequel coming out soon. You said you've been filming, and it's not the only thing you're doing, but definitely a thing a lot of people are looking forward to. Magic Mike 2. I notice you're definitely in your Magic Mike mode right now.
I can't put my weight back on. I've been eating too. We had a chance to get that. It comes out July 1st. That should be great.
July 1st in theaters everywhere?
Everywhere.
Magic Mike 2, of course, WrestleMania 31. Is this 31?
Yes, 31.
Wow. San Jose, California. It's March 28th. It's the Big Shenanigans VIP Club Party. You can go to PWRshow.com for all the information on that. Big Sexy Kevin Nash is going to be there headlining and partying with all of you. And I think we'll do a little bit of a competition. As you talked about, it'll be about Saturday morning in dialysis. See who makes it longest on Friday night.
That'll be me.
Big Sexy Kevin Nash. Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kevin, and we cannot wait to see you in San Jose for Shenanigans. Coming up next on PWR Primetime, this month's Top 5, DHHS, and be the booker for tomorrow's Fastlane pay-per-view.
Welcome back, folks, to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time Saturday night. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Hero. What a show it's been.
It's been huge.
God, it feels dang on good. We're only like 40 minutes into it of this 1 hour tour.
You know, you can now legitimately call yourself one of the 60-minute men.
I've long been. Since sophomore year, actually, in high school.
Really? Mm-hmm. I had no idea.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, if you space it out right.
Timing is everything.
Let's go to this week's Top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, my view of the Top 5 talents in professional wrestling for the month of the last month, rather, followed by your segment, DWHS. Number 5, folks, goes to Samoa Joe for keeping his price and standing his ground in deciding he wasn't worth less and would leave TNA Impact Wrestling. Number 4 goes to Kevin Owens, the brand new NXT champion. We asked a question earlier whether or not it was too soon. I don't think it was too soon at all. Owens is a star, and not because he was Steen, but because he has been put on a platform in NXT. Number 3 goes to your diamond of the ring, David Hero, Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, who has tweaked his character just a little bit to be in this situation with Roman Reigns, and it's a good thing. Number 2 goes to the unrivaled Stardust. Stardust turning on his brother Goldust, who I also am a great fan of, but I'm going to pick Stardust in this scenario. He is number 2. And number 1 goes to the man who should have, did, and will continue on to WrestleMania as the winner of the Royal Rumble matchup, the man of the main event at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns. You can hate him, you can hate the fact that he is the chosen one, but you can't deny that he should be the chosen one. Roman Reigns, number 1 in this week's Top 5, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's hear what David Hero has to say in this week's DWHS.
The WWE is in high gear and ready to roll into WrestleMania like a runaway train. Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns will headline and main event tomorrow night's Fastlane pay-per-view, and you can expect a match with tons of emotion and even more false finishes. Reigns will have to show and prove to the universe that he is more than ready to main event WrestleMania 31 with Brock Lesnar. Daniel Bryan is the man that can make or break it for Reigns. Bryan is so talented he can hide any flaws Reigns may have and magnify his strengths. But the biggest star of the night will not be in the main event, but the man that will defeat John Cena, Rusev. Rusev is a monster, and I fully expect for him to crush John Cena the same way King Kong Bundy crushed Hulk Hogan leading up to their WrestleMania 2 cage match. Fastlane will be about the young lions of the WWE and getting them ready for the bright lights and center stage of WrestleMania. And with that, David Hero has spoken.
There are only 2 events left in the current PWR Fantasy Draft, and the Nelson family remains in the lead. Woo! At last month's Royal Rumble pay-per-view, the family scored an additional 475 points.
Thanks,
and
Roman.
Sits on top with 3,835 points, while David Hero's Super Friends scored 375 points and now has 3,630 points. It's still a close race, folks, and a lot is at stake at tomorrow's Fastlane pay-per-view as we head into WrestleMania, where the draft winner will be determined. Follow PWR Draft on Twitter to get live updates during WWE Fastlane and to follow along with the scoring. Now it's time to take an even closer look at the Fastlane pay-per-view with Be the Booker, where Damian and David fantasy book and go in depth on the event. Boys, take it away.
Thank you, Linda, and it is indeed time for Be the Booker, David Hero. Let's get right to the chase. Let's get in the Fastlane to Fastlane tomorrow night on pay-per-view. And let's start with the marquee matchup. The 2 people that would be on the poster if this match had been announced earlier: Stardust versus Goldust. It's bro versus bro.
It's brother versus brother. The brothers in paint will be going toe-to-toe, belly to belly.
And Stardust wins. God, that's a great choice. It makes a lot of sense.
No. The older brother gets the victory over the younger brother, just to incite him to make him more irritated leading up to their big match at WrestleMania.
And he does dastardly things.
I like Goldust to beat Stardust, but then Cody Rhodes defeats Goldust at WrestleMania.
The transition.
Yes.
Now, in this matchup or in the match at Mania, could there potentially be a dusty finish? Maybe Stardust wins, then match is restarted.
No, not at all.
The Intercontinental Championship is on the line, folks, as Dean Ambrose, all of your favorites, goes up against Bad News Barrett, who is the current title holder.
You know, for as popular as Dean Ambrose is right now, and the fans are solid and behind him. He is Lunatic Fringe. Wade Barrett is just so good and so talented, and he's been start and stopped so many times over the past couple years.
He shouldn't be in the fast lane.
I would hate to see Ambrose defeat Barrett tomorrow night. I'm going to go with Wade Barrett getting the victory, whether by DQ or countout or whatnot, because Ambrose has gotten the better of him the last few weeks on TV.
All right, well, interesting selection there, David Hero. Next matchup is for the United States Championship, folks. It is Rusev defending his United States title against John Cena. Passionate promo from John Cena this past Monday night. Passionate beatdown, John Cena getting the upper hand this past Monday night as well.
It was a big beatdown on Rusev by John Cena, which makes it so obvious what's going to happen. There's no way John Cena beats up Rusev on Monday Night Raw and then defeats him, 6 days later on the pay-per-view.
Superman. He's John Cena.
But Rusev has been a monster that's been building and building and building the last several months. And that is Vince McMahon's Russian monster, Rusev. I love Rusev defeating John Cena tomorrow night. He may even make him tap out. He will put a beat down on John Cena like no other. So
Rusev fight.
Rusev is going to destroy John Cena tomorrow night, which can then set up the big Rocky IV return rematch at WrestleMania.
Dolph Lundgren?
No, where John Cena gets to play, Sylvester Stallone. He gets to be Rocky, train in Siberia, do all the hard work to prove he can, be the underdog. They're portraying him to be broken down. John Cena.
Really?
Much like Rocky was in Rocky IV.
The veteran old man or something like that they called him the other week on Raw? Well, folks, the Divas Championship will be on the line as well. Paige versus Nikki Bella.
Yes, and Paige is extremely talented. She is very good at what she does.
A young'un, too.
I honestly believe if Paige plays her cards right, she might be the most successful diva of all time.
All time?
Of all time.
Trish Stratus. Lita.
Better than both.
Sunny. Different.
Well, she's not. Yeah.
There it is.
But Nikki Bella's been fantastic as her role as the antagonist. And this is like the head cheerleaders against the punk chick. You know what I mean? It's like
the outcast.
Yeah, the outcast. But I love Paige to finally get her revenge as well.
Heel.
No, but you got the baby face up here. But
I forgot. I thought Stardust was winning.
But let's not forget though. There's also another big baby face going to be at Fastlane.
Yes, indeed, there will be.
Sting.
Yes. Announced to appear for the first time on WWE programming. He's appeared twice, but this is the first time he's been announced to appear.
And him and Triple H are going to have quite the confrontation.
Will the match be made for WrestleMania as a result of what happens at Fastlane?
There's no doubt in my mind some type of shenanigans will happen at Fastlane, but we'll have to tune into Monday Night Raw to find out if the match is going to happen or not.
Well, this is Sunday Night Raw.
You know what I mean.
Looks the same. Well, Raw has Pyro again, so now they're much more similar.
Well, Kane's back in charge.
The tag team championships will be on the line as the Usos will defend against the team of the tremendous tag team of Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
Yeah,
couldn't maybe not a better talented tag team in the world today.
You got to like Kidd and Cesaro. It is one of the best technical tag teams they've had in quite a long time. You got to believe Kidd and Cesaro are ready to beat the Usos. You have to, think that.
They've been getting a lot of TV time, have Kidd and Cesaro. A lot of quiet TV time.
But here's why they're getting a lot, because the Total Divas TV show is on, and Tyson Kidd and Natty are on every week.
What's he listening to?
I have no idea. I think it's Enrique and Pitbull.
Pitbull has teamed with him now?
Yeah,
Does Pitbull have a single?
He said, no, not on his own.
Who wins?
I like a no decision.
But?
Yeah. I would love to see this to be a 2 out of 3 falls match at WrestleMania.
Be a great match.
It would be.
Folks, speaking of WrestleMania, the stakes could be no higher. As tomorrow night, Fastlane, pay-per-view, free on the WWE Network, the main event spot at WrestleMania is up for grabs. As I said, it would be a month ago on this very program. You said I was cray-cray. It will be the man who won the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns, going up against Daniel Bryan. It's a one-on-one matchup. The winner of this match gets Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania.
This match here reminds me of Shawn Michaels versus Diesel. Daniel Bryan will take the role of Shawn Michaels,
95,
creating a lot of motion in the ring. Diesel, Roman Reigns, will be doing a lot of pitching and catching. It's going to be a big match. Daniel Bryan's the right guy, because Daniel Bryan, you've heard the saying before.
Yes.
You can take a halibut to water, but you better walk fast or he's going to die.
Yes.
Yes. Daniel Bryan has taken this halibut to water. He's going to make Roman Reigns a bigger star.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Who wins the match?
Oh, Roman Reigns. I said he's making him a bigger star. Roman Reigns.
People are going to cancel PWR now.
No, they won't.
Hashtag?
Of course they're not.
Trend on Twitter?
We always trend on Twitter.
It's Fastlane tomorrow night on pay-per-view. Stardust takes a defeat from Goldust. Wade Barrett retains the Intercontinental Championship against Dean Ambrose. Rusev retains the United States Championship against John Cena. Paige wins the championship for the Divas from Nikki. And the tag team matchup between the Usos and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro goes to a no contest. Roman Reigns wins, goes one-on-one with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania tomorrow night in Memphis, Tennessee. PWR is going to be covering the event live on Twitter.
Graceland?
Live on Twitter, at PWR Show on Twitter. And we're going to take a time out. When we come back, folks, it's the final leg of our journey where we look at the March Wrestling Forecast.
Don't miss your chance to catch the best pro wrestling on the planet. Ring of Honor returns to Milwaukee at the Turner Hall Ballroom Friday, March 13th at 7:30 p.m. with appearances by The Briscoes, Red Dragon, Jay Lethal, and many more. Experience body slamming, brain busting, pro wrestling action live. Visit ROHWrestling.com now for tickets and info.
Direct from the Jerry Springer Show. The Extreme Midget Wrestling Federation is coming to town. The world's smallest wrestlers are competing for the title. This is body slamming action, midget style. These 4'2" little guys fight with pool sticks, chairs, trash cans, and weapons of mass destruction. Come, support midget violence.
Coming to Milwaukee on Friday, April 3rd. Get your tickets now at HapsTheater.org.
Welcome to the final leg of the PWR journey for Saturday, February 21st. March is the same thing before you go yelling at me. 2015. 15.
I wasn't going to yell at you.
You know, folks, we're 5 weeks out from WrestleMania 31, and while Fastlane will give us more direction on the showcase of the Immortals, there will be a lot more to do after tomorrow's event to build the WrestleMania card. Questions. Let's answer them, David Hero. What exactly is Bray Wyatt up to, and will it be Bray Wyatt versus The Undertaker at WrestleMania?
Taker, because that is where they've been building it, and they both need each other right now.
The Rock, who appeared at the Royal Rumble, will he be a part of this year's WrestleMania for the 4th year in a row?
I think that you will see a cameo appearance of The Rock, but after the way he was mistreated by the fans in Philadelphia, I don't see him being there with Roman Reigns.
Speaking of Roman Reigns, will the fans take a liking to Roman Reigns? An interesting scenario has been talked about by some very smart people in this business, namely Jim Ross. WrestleMania, Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman screws Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar becomes a face. Brock Lesnar loses the title. Roman Reigns gets Paul Heyman to fix the promo issue and walks out of WrestleMania the champion as a bad guy.
I can definitely see that happening. And that's probably the best way to protect Roman Reigns, but you can't do it until that match at WrestleMania.
At WrestleMania.
Yes.
Which is, again, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. Let the story play out and see what happens at the end.
But that is bad news for Seth Rollins fans.
That's the next question. What about Seth Rollins?
Well, he's kind of in a pickle right now. And Seth Rollins is not going to be able to cash in as a bad guy against the bad guy, Roman Reigns. I didn't look that close.
Will there be NXT involvement?
I didn't look at all. What am I saying?
Will there be NXT involvement at WrestleMania?
Absolutely, there has to be. There has to be at least one match.
There's a lot of
NXT.
momentum behind NXT, folks.
Especially if they're going to be touring. They have to showcase that.
These are things to look forward to in March after Fastlane tomorrow on pay-per-view. And keep in mind, PWR returns with an all-new edition on Saturday, March 28th, the night before WrestleMania. And David Hero, we're going to be live from San Jose, California, with a very special edition of Prime
We're
Time.
going to be in live?
Live.
We're not taping?
Not taping.
Good God.
We'll be all the way live, and you will have a 12-second delay. In the meantime, be sure to check out PWR Live each and every Monday night after Raw at our Blog Talk Radio channel. That's blogtalkradio.com/PWR. Thank you so much for joining us, folks, here this week. We look forward to seeing you on March 13th at Ring of Honor, March 14th at WWE Live at the BMO Harris Bradley Center, and also, again, March 28th right here on My 24 Milwaukee, live from San Jose. It's our WrestleMania special. For that one, this is Damian Nelson saying farewell, everyone. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.